For the longest time, the playbook for getting a customer's email was to offer something massive, a huge ebook, a multi-part course. But what if that's completely wrong? Today, we're going to deconstruct a systematic psychological formula for creating a freebie that isn't just downloaded, but is desperately wanted and immediately used, one that creates this powerful urge for your audience to see what's next. And this brings us to a huge paradox in building an audience. We instinctively think bigger is better. We pour weeks into creating some 50-page guide, thinking the sheer volume is going to impress people. But in reality, it often does the exact opposite. The truth is, there's a precise, repeatable formula that completely bypasses our audience's skepticism, and it has almost nothing to do with size, and everything to do with speed and psychology. So what's the answer to the paradox? It's this. The number one fear of anyone scrolling through their feed or their inbox isn't missing out on your content. Nope. It's that deep, nagging fear of wasting their time. Time is their most valuable, non-renewable asset. So when they see a massive freebie, they don't see value, they see homework. They see a project they have to start, another file that's just gonna sit unread in their downloads folder. And that fear, it's a bigger wall to climb than any price tag. So if we're fighting against the fear of wasted time, we need a totally new metric for success. Forget about page count, forget video length. The only thing that matters is this: instant time to value, or TTV. This is basically the stopwatch measurement from the second they give you their email to the second they get a win, a solution, a genuine aha moment. And the goal here is non-negotiable. That whole process has to happen in under 60 seconds. Now, you might be thinking, why all the urgency? Why is the 60-second rule so critical right now? Well, it's because we're all living in the middle of an inbox saturation crisis. The old rules are just broken because the entire environment has changed. Our patience is gone, and attention is probably the scarcest resource on the planet. Your freebie isn't just competing with other freebies, it's competing with Netflix, with Slack, with everything that's screaming for a slice of that attention. This means we have to make a really crucial mental shift. We've got to stop thinking of our freebie as some generous gift. It's not. It's the very first transaction in a new business relationship. The customer is paying you with their email address, and that's a currency they are guarding more and more carefully. In exchange, we have an obligation to deliver an immediate return on their investment. This transaction is our one shot to prove we're competent and build enough trust for any future sale. This really shows the two paths in front of us. Over on the left, you've got the old way, the failed ebook model. The time cost is huge. The value is delayed, if it ever comes, until page 47. And because the user almost never gets that far, that feeling of reciprocity is basically zero. But on the right, you have the new way, the successful micro-product model. The time cost is practically nothing. The value is immediate. They use the tool, they get a result. And because you just solved a real problem for them, that psychological urge to return the favor is incredibly high. So, how do we actually build one of these successful microproducts? Well, it's not guesswork. It's about building an engine, a reliable system designed for one thing and one thing only, delivering instant utility at high speed. Let's break down exactly how this engine is built and how its core parts work together to generate that immediate value and trust. This engine has 4 critical stages, and they have to happen in this order. It all starts with step 1, acute pain identification. You have to find that one precise, urgent problem. That diagnosis then directly tells you how to do step 2, the micro product design. Step 3 is all about engineering a zero-friction delivery system. And finally, if you nail the first 3 steps, they automatically create step 4, a powerful reciprocity anchor that just pulls the user toward your main offer. Let's look a little closer. When we say diagnose the single most urgent problem, we mean you have to find the splinter, not try to cure the disease. For a freelance writer, that splinter isn't, I need to get more clients. It's, I am staring at a blank page and I need a headline right now. So you design a tool to pull out that splinter, a headline formula template, not a book about headline theory. The delivery has to be seamless, no complicated logins, just an instant download. And when that tool works, boom, you've established a kind of psychological debt, a pull that makes them think, wow, if the free stuff is this good, what's next? Okay, so we've talked about the mechanics, the how, but the real power of this system, the secret sauce, comes from understanding the why. This engine doesn't just run on good ideas, it runs on the fuel of fundamental human psychology. It works so well because it doesn't try to fight human nature. It's designed to align with it perfectly by tapping into these deep-seated behavioral triggers. And the main trigger here is the principle of reciprocity, which was famously defined by Dr. Robert Cialdini. Now, this isn't just some nice idea. It's a powerful social obligation that's basically hardwired into our DNA. Just think about when a coworker buys you a coffee out of the blue. You feel that immediate urge to get the next round. By providing an instant, valuable solution to a real problem, we trigger that same exact feeling of indebtedness. It makes our new lead dramatically more open to whatever we ask for next. But there's a second, equally powerful principle at work here: loss aversion. We all know people are way more motivated to avoid a loss than they are to achieve a gain. And here's the really clever part. The microproduct applies this principle not to money, but to time. By making the freebie something that delivers value instantly, you completely remove the perceived risk of losing time. You eliminate their biggest objection before they can even think of it, which makes saying yes almost an automatic decision. It all comes down to this number: under 60 seconds. This is the key that unlocks the whole system. It's the requirement that neutralizes that fear of wasted time. It's the catalyst that sparks the feeling of reciprocity. It turns a skeptical visitor into someone who just had a positive, valuable, and most importantly, fast experience with you. This number isn't just a guideline, it is the entire game. All right, we've covered the theory, we've covered the psychology. Now let's make this real. Let's translate it into a concrete, actionable framework. How do you actually build one of these high-performance freebies? This is the 3-step path to mastering the art and science of the perfect freebie and making sure you hit that sub-60-second mark every single time. Principle number 1, and this is an absolute rule: your freebie must be anchored in utility. That means it has to do something. Look, in an age of infinite information, data is cheap, but a tool that saves me time or solves a problem for me, that's priceless. Your freebie can't just be a passive document someone reads. It has to be a functional asset, a tool they can immediately use. So think tools, not text. Things like a mortgage calculator that instantly spits out a clear monthly payment, a pre-flight checklist for a new pilot, a simple budget template in Google Sheets. Even a mini course can work, but only if it's super focused on teaching one specific skill in a few minutes, like how to crop a photo perfectly in Canva. The key here is that all of these require action. They force the user to engage, and it's in that engagement that they experience the value firsthand. Principle number 2. Your tool must be aimed at the point of most acute pain. It's not enough to solve a problem, you have to solve their most urgent, top of mind, I need this fixed right now problem. You're not trying to be a vitamin, something that's nice to have for general health. You need to be a painkiller, giving immediate relief to a throbbing headache. The best way to find this pain? Go listen to the exact language your audience uses online. What questions do they ask over and over again? That's your target. This quote just nails it. The power is all in the specificity. It's not about giving them a guide to better copywriting. It's about solving the immediate crisis of staring at a blank page and thinking, I need a headline now. A template with 10 proven headline formulas is infinitely more valuable in that moment than a 100-page book on theory. That's how you guarantee you're relevant and make them feel like you truly get them. And the final principle brings it all home. You have to be absolutely, ruthlessly, obsessively focused on optimizing for time to value. This means you audit every single step of your delivery process. Ask yourself, how many fields are on my opt-in form? Can I cut it down to just one? How fast does my email go out? Can I make it faster? Does the link go directly to the resource or to another landing page? Every millisecond of friction you remove increases that feeling of reciprocity and strengthens that first transaction. You want them to feel a sense of professional grace, like everything just worked seamlessly. So let's pull all these threads together into one core insight. When you follow this system, what you're really creating isn't just a lead magnet. You are engineering your first, best transaction with a new customer, one that is intentionally designed to be fast, valuable, and psychologically compelling. It's your handshake, your proof of competence, and your opening argument, all delivered in under a minute. So, if you only take one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. In the beginning of any customer relationship, the greatest barrier you face is not price, it's not competition, it's not a lack of features. It is the customer's deep, profound, and totally rational fear of wasting their time. Your first job is to prove in under 60 seconds that you respect their time more than anyone else. And this is really the ultimate goal. The best marketing doesn't feel like you're being pushed through a funnel. It feels like you're being pulled toward a solution. The engine of that pull is instant value. When you solve a painful problem for someone right here and now, you don't need to push. They will come to you, ready and eager to find out what other problems you can solve. That is the power of the perfect freebie.